Hello, athletes and fans of bodybuilding. Terrick Guindy with the Mr. Olympia. Today, we have one of the most popular bodybuilders in the world. He has won plenty of pro shows, but is at the Mr. Olympia at the Arnold Classic where he comes to play. In the last Arnold Classic, he was runner-up, and at the Mr. Olympia, he was third place. He continues to go up on the placings, and many people believe he just might be the future of the classic physique category. He is the iconic Urs Kalecinski. How are you, Urs?
Hey, nice introduction. Thank you so much. And thank you for having me on today. It's amazing. I told it to Chris himself back in Mexico, and I told it also Flex. Those guys were my absolute idols and still are. So feeling absolutely blessed to being on with you guys here tonight. And of course, Chris Cormier looks like a absolute
dapper. You could say amazing, whatever you want to say. It's okay.
Pimp. You look like a pimp to me.
Also with us, he's the 4-time Ironman champion. He is one of the co-hosts of Primetime Muscle. He's also on the Menace podcast. People just can't get enough of him. He's the super popular, the iconic Chris Cormier. How are you, Chris?
Thank you. Thanks for the nice introduction. Thanks for being nice this morning. Good to see you guys.
It won't last, Chris.
Yeah, no kidding.
Also with us, he is a 4-time Arnold Classic champion. He's the 1992 Mr. USA's. Actually, Chris was 93. Flex Wheeler was 92. He is the Sultan of Symmetry, the legend himself, Flex Wheeler. How are you?
Who that?
All right. Get down to business.
You know what? In 1992, I wasn't even on this earth. So
thanks for bringing that up. Thanks, I appreciate it. Yeah, it's all of you, brother. Yeah,
understand that.
Here's my first question, Chris Cormier. You were the first one to see Urs Kalecinski on a pro stage close to America. You were at the Tijuana Pro, the first edition of the Tijuana Pro, the Extreme Pro, promoted by our good friend Gabriel Velasco. Yes. On that occasion, Urs Kalecinski placed second. I think Mike Summerfield won that show, and Urs Kalecinski placed second. But you came back from that show, and you told me, Terrick, watch out for this guy that took second. Once he fills up the frame, it's going to be scary. Talk to me about the first time you saw Urs Kalecinski in Tijuana, Mexico.
Well, I saw him, and we started talking, and he wanted me to take a look at what he looked like, and if I had any tips off the top of my head to give him. And yeah, so we started going through some poses, and I started noticing he had some outstanding body parts, and so much upside. And I was asked him how old he was. He said he was 22, I believe, at the time. 20.
Plus 21, yeah.
21. Yeah. I said he was just able to get some cerveza over there in Tijuana. And I was like, man, I said you got such a quite the future ahead of you. And I feel like if you just, and I always say, take your time, just try to understand the training and the stuff that you need to do to get better, because you're going to be better. You're going to be one of the best in the world. Just, just be careful with your physique. And like I said, put it together piece by piece, and like an artist would. And I had him winning that show. I told him that, that backstage there, I said I had him winning, but, I think,
But to lose this show was the best experience for me.
Yeah. I said he had the maturity over you. And I said, but, you has nothing to worry about, because I think, you definitely are, the future of the sport.
Chris, I know exactly how it was. It was like yesterday for me. I was there with my oldest brother, and I was shaking. It was the way in, and I said to him, "Look over there, it's Chris Cormier." This was the first time for me overseas. And then you might think I can ask him about showing my physique, and then he came up, talked to me, and it was
Yeah.
an experience. And then afterwards, we decided spontaneously, hey, let's do Tampa Pro, and then I won this show and qualified for my
Oh
first
yeah, you were on your way, man, for sure.
amazing time. Yeah, it was my first time in the US there. Yeah, that was super cool.
You briefly mentioned that the best thing for you was actually losing that show. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah, because if I had won, probably I would say, okay, let's go back to Germany and focus on the Olympia. But to lose that smaller show, I would say in Mexico, gave me the opportunity to go to Tampa, which is one of the biggest shows in the US. And then there was a deep lineup with over 40 competitors, I remember. And also guys which placed top 2, top 3 in the Arnolds in the previous one. And then we made it happen, and it was just insane.
Flex, I want you to talk to me about, you had success very early in your career. Chris mentions he has to sculpt his body, and he's got to be very careful with it. What is the advice that you would give to Urs Kalecinski so that he doesn't destroy his body with too much progress too fast?
Yeah, I had the honor of meeting Urs when he won the Boston show. It was the first time laying eyes on him, and it was just a wow factor. His lines, the way he controls himself, his composure on stage was just completely outstanding. What really blew me away is his posing. You don't see people that often coming right out the gate posing the way he does. Like I said off camera, he has like an old soul. It's obvious that he studied the game, and he's a historian of posing and everything. So that was just beautiful, right? I mean, we see great physiques all the time, but to master yourself and how you display it, to me, as an artist, truly at his highest form. So we had a little conversation afterwards, after he won and everything. But the same thing kind of what Chris said. He already had a sharp head on his shoulder. I could tell that. We had discussed like training and stuff like that together, but he doesn't need any advice. Or continue doing what you're doing at the pace you're doing it. There's old sayings. Rome wasn't built in a day. Ronnie Coleman wasn't built in a day. Neither was Chris Cormier, or none of us. So take your time and understand your age. How old are you now?
Now I'm 25.
25. So you're one of the youngest, hottest competitors there is out there. So all you got to do is just patiently keep, like Chris said, like an artist, just keep slowly just adding slabs of muscle on. And by the time that you're like at 70, 80, 90%, you'll be winning shows, and there'll be nobody else around. It's like Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler didn't try to take me on or Ronnie on when we were in our prime. Jay just kind of stayed off to the wing works and continued working on his physique. And when he was ready to strike, he struck. That's the same thing you got going for you, such young age. And when I say 70, 80%, that's an actual compliment to you, because people like me and Chris, we can see the potential of what you really have. People are probably looking at you right now and saying, "Oh my God, he looks great." And I'm like, he does look great, but the kid probably is barely 70% what he has to bring to the table. So when I say that, imagine like at 80%, you know what I mean? Because you have such more maturity to grow. Your body's still so young. Your muscles are still so young. That takes time. It takes time. You can't, I know people deep fry a turkey now, but there's an old saying, you can't cook a turkey no faster than it takes to cook a turkey. So keep doing at your pace, keep going at your pace, brother, and you're going to own the world, man. And you're already so popular now. You just, if I was you, I'd be the happiest man on the planet. What I mean? It's just stars and championships ahead of you.
My question to all of you is this: This guy's 25 years old. It looks like his frame can carry a lot more muscle. I mean, this looks like Dennis Wolf, you know, at 25. Is this guy in the not in the wrong category, but is Urs Kalecinski going to end up in the Open? Urs, what do you think?
The ongoing dilemma.
The ongoing dilemma.
No, it's funny because I joked with Marcus Rule actually, and the German crowd knows it, and he's like pushing me and says like, "Yeah, one day you're gonna go there." But for me, it's one step in front of the other. The advice Flex gave me, I listened to him in Boston and also to Chris, and just did like what they said because, of course, they're gonna know what they're talking about, and that's my goal. You know, just one step in front of each other, and then I mean, the classic weight limit is up for me. It's 2 kilograms. It's 4 pounds. And I was 4 pounds under at this year's Arnold's. So, I mean, that's 8 more pounds of lean muscle tissue, quality mass to put on this frame. And then, yeah, we can talk again. But right now, I'm full into classic. I love lines. I love structure. I love the grainy look with good lines, perfect posing. And that's my idea of bodybuilding, you know. Late 80s, early 90s, and
I understand. And listen, classic physique loves you. There's no doubt. That's why you are placing top 2 in the Arnold and top 3. Chris Cormier, look at this physique and tell me, can this guy eventually put on 20, 30 pounds of muscle and be the next, or even better than Dennis Wolf?
Yes, I think it'd be better. I think, in my opinion, for my taste, that would be the ideal physique out of all the Germans that I've seen compete. You know, it's not. I think he has a, you know, the arms are or can be a little fuller. That's going to come with time. You know, being 25, I remember that age was a kind of a awkward age for, that is the one where you start to get a little bit more mature. You start to get a little bit more, you hold a bit more water and more glycogen in the muscle at that age of 25. And that's only going to increase by the age of 28 and 30. You know, barring any injury or anything like that, there's no way to really have a good comprehension of what he's going to look like. But you know, I see he's taken the time to improve his training. He's been improving his training since the day I've been watching him. He's been improving the quads and everything. You know, might I say density at this age, but he's getting a lot more density out of his legs and his back, the arms. So I feel like he's well on his way to being one of the best you ever seen coming out of Germany and possibly the world at one day. I'm sure he's going to win it one day.
Hey, Flex, you know that, you know, you and Chris Cormier, you guys started as smaller bodybuilders, right? You turned pro. You turned pro in 1992. You won the Arnold Classic, and I think you were, what, 216 pounds?
Yeah, 216 pounds, right around there. When I won on the Classic.
How heavy were you, Urs, when you took second at the Arnold?
I was about like, what is it? And it was like 98 kilograms. What's that? And that's about
220 pounds.
218, I think. Yeah, 218.
So, I mean, and I think, Urs, you might have been a little bit taller than Flex. How tall are you?
I'm like 182 centimeters.
Okay, so you are maybe same height as if this guy if they didn't have classic physique, Flex, these guys would be young, aesthetically pleasing bodybuilders that we would be like, man, in 3 years these guys are going to dominate the sport. Do you think Urs Kalecinski will reach his maximum potential in the open category?
Yeah, definitely. It's just an evolution, right? It's an evolution of life. You look at You look at any of us, all of us competed at lighter weights. And as we got older, we got more mature, more boned, more muscle density. You look at any professional boxer, every heavyweight champion normally started off as a lightweight or a middleweight. And throughout them getting older and putting on more mass, it's just an evolution. So you look at the current Mr. Olympia, you know, what category did he come from? He came from the 212. It was an evolution of him just getting more bigger. So Urs carries so much more height. You know, I would probably argue by the time he's 28, 29 years old, he'll have to step into the open because he would have naturally put on just so much muscle mass. I mean, again, as Chris was talking about his physique, as great as he is, he can carry more mass in his arms. He can carry more mass in his quads, his hamstrings, and his glute structure as far as density. So his legs are two of the biggest body parts that are on him. So imagine him just putting on, you know, 4 or 5 pounds on each quad. You know, that's 10 pounds already. Now he's already close to super exceeding that category, adding more muscle to his back and his chest and his arms and his delts. You know, there goes another probably 7 pounds. So, you know, now he's definitely in the open category. And Urs, I wouldn't worry about losing your lines. That's something that you can control. We did it our whole career, you know, like you said, in the early 90s and late 2000s, we all controlled our midsections and our lines. Yeah, you can actually do that. And I'm not worried about you ever blowing yourself out of proportion. I think you're a little smarter than that. And I think you're trying to the 90s. So you have nothing to worry about. It's a natural evolution of life. Every year you're going to get older. Every year your body's going to get more mature, which is going to allow you to naturally carry on more weight. So don't rush it. It's going to happen, brother. Just enjoy the ride, you know.
Urs, you might have a smaller waist than Chris Bumstead and Ramon Dino. Do you do anything specific with this, with your waist, or you were just born like this?
Shout out to my mom. She was
Yeah.
a ballerina.
Wow.
No, seriously, she gave me also some tricks, and they did back in the days in the ballet school. So it's kind of mix of like vacuums and the deep ab muscles you need to train. The transversal ab muscularity, and yeah, but to be honest, 80% of it is genetic, and the rest is is just some training and some control of your midsection.
Fantastic. Now, Urs, there's another young guy. He may be a little bit older than you. He is 28, 27. His name is Ramon Dino. Here we go. There's about 50,000 dinosaurs already on our chat. You need to beat him, okay? You need to beat him. You placed second at the Arnold. He won the Arnold. You placed third at the Olympia. He placed second. Chris Bumstead, there's like a lot of chatter about Chris Bumstead retiring and this and that. There's a lot of speculation. And then obviously people look at Ramon and Urs Kalecinski, because Breon Ansley, you know, I don't know, how old is Breon? He might be
42 now, right?
43.
43. You know, I believe Terrence is a young guy and he'll come back with a vengeance. But Urs, people associate you with Ramon. They look at both of you and they love the rivalry. You know, and
I want that battle, baby. I want it.
You know, they look at it. You beat him the first time at the Olympia. You placed fourth, and he placed fifth. Now, since then, he's beaten you twice. When are you going to beat him? Are you beating him? Are you beating Ramon Dino in this Olympia?
You know what? I have some secrets. All the Brazilian fans maybe know this. That's I beat him with his own weapons. So you better be ready for this Olympia, guys.
Oh man, where did you get Guaraná, man?
I have my contacts here in Germany.
His sources.
It was so hard to get, but finally I can enjoy it of you guys.
So Guaraná in every country that Coca-Cola is the highest drinking soda in the world. The only country in the world where Coca-Cola is not number one is in Brazil because of Guaraná. Guaraná is a fruit and it has normal stimulants. Man, Guaraná is the best soda in the world.
It is,
So,
honestly. And I was in Brazil, and Guarana themselves sent me a message and said, like, whenever you're there, you're gonna get Guarana for lifetime for free. Now
really?
I'm a real Brazil marumba.
Hey,
Yes, yes. You know, it's funny because despite the fact that you're Ramon's, arch nemesis, a lot of the Brazilians, they love you. You know, they can't get enough of Urs Kalecinski, the Miracle Bear. They follow you. They like the fact that you have this rivalry with Ramon. If the Olympia was in Brazil, would you be one of the main ambassadors for the Mr. Olympia in Brazil?
Hell yeah, I love Brazil. And whenever Guarana and Feijoada is around the corner, I'm down. So no, honestly, I was there and I felt in love with the Brazilian bodybuilding community immediately because it's not comparable. I heard something about India that they're also very crazy about bodybuilding and they really love the sport of bodybuilding. And for me, bodybuilding is the biggest love, and to found places on earth like Brazil or India, it's just crazy to see how they treat the sport. And also in America, I mean, I went there the first time. I went to an Uber from the airport to my hotel room, and he was like, "Wow, you're a professional bodybuilder. That's amazing!" And it was just so cool. And if you have that support, I mean, you should be very thankful, and that's why Brazil is always in my heart.
Well, I talked to a manager, Matt. He's a friend of mine. He went to FIBO and he said, Terrick, I mean, forget about Ramon, Cbum, Hadi, Derek, Samson Dowd. Forget about all these guys. The line for Urs Kalecinski was from Frankfurt to Munich.
Yeah, FIBO was crazy. I mean, what I try is like to bring the Olympia title home to Germany and create that kind of community in Europe, because we don't had an Olympia champ for a long time here in Europe or in Germany, and Germany we never had one, and that's like my little old mission I'm on, to create a great bodybuilding community here in Europe. Not only the soccer community, also the bodybuilding community is improving. And that's. I mean, that's just more than the sport you can reach out to, especially the new generation. You know, the young guns following me and trying to become a good bodybuilder, and that's so good to see, because we all know that lifestyle teach you so much about discipline, about staying in the gym, not going out to parties and like doing some bullshit at the streets. So I mean, it's such a good sport, and I would love to be one of the ambassadors here in Europe for bodybuilding.
and
You
what
know,
what are your? I want sorry to cut you off, Terry. What have you been doing physically to prepare yourself for the Olympia? What body parts been trying to improve, or what's been your main focus?
My main focus is definitely the back and the arms. I would say I improved both quite good, but I'm not a I'm not a talker. I'm gonna show my results in November, and I think we all can be excited for it, and also build up my muscle quality, like Flex said. Over the years, every season, I realized, okay, I have the same body fat, but my quality just getting better and better. And my legs, they might have good quality since I started, but especially my shoulders, my arms, my back, they improve every year, and it's so cool to see, and get denser muscles. That's amazing.
Good.
the physique is incredible. And
Yeah.
He's a great poser. He's truly an artist on stage. I said something that, was a little bit controversial on Primetime Muscle. And I actually don't regret it. And nobody has asked me to apologize. But I said the classic physique is becoming more popular than open bodybuilding. Chris Cormier almost had a stroke when I said that. But Chris, Inflex, Chris Bumstead, mega popular. Ramon Dino, mega popular. Urs Kalecinski, mega popular. Breon, Terrence Ruffin. I judge the open bodybuilding and I judge the classic physique. It's actually hard to really compare it because the classic physique prejudging takes place at the expo. But I think if you sit there and you hear the excitement when they announce some of these names, it's incredible. I believe the younger generation associate themselves more with classic than open bodybuilding. Flex Wheeler, do you agree with my statement or you disagree?
Damn, I wanted Chris to go first.
Yeah, I go first. Been training with Breon for the last 7 or 8 years or whatever it's been. I've been in the forefront of a lot of that excitement and right in the middle of a lot of those words going back and forth at the prejudging. But the electricity of the classic division is far more superior than the open, in my opinion, because it's like, I don't know. I think like you said, maybe the younger generation is looking at that like, yeah, these guys are closer to my age and these guys are in my, it's kind of cool to see the different poses, the classic poses. And I think they all have their set personalities and styles. And I think they really bring, a lot of that excitement, a lot of that fanfare, and their different styles. And they know what to expect. It reminds me of the 90s style bodybuilders and into the 2000s. We all had a certain special coming with our physiques, and we knew what to expect. A lot of guys in the open, you don't know what to expect as they coming into the show, the Mr. Olympia. But these guys had a lot of electricity, a lot of fanfare, and a lot of and the muscles are so visible and so separated. And I just hope it stays like that. And I hope you keep that same style going on into as your career blossoms into whatever it's going to be, because that's real bodybuilding to me.
Agreed. I would be remiss if I didn't agree with Chris on that. Yeah, the guys in that category, they have like atmosphere, they have individuality. They have their own personalities like we did. We all had our own different personalities. Chris had his, Kevin had his, Sean had his. We had an aura about ourselves. And even jokingly, they would say, damn, Flex, before you get to the gym, 10 minutes before, your aura arrives, before you do. So they have that. That's captivating. The other thing is that the honest truth is, one of the other reasons it's a lot more attainable to look good in their category than it is in the open. It takes a lot more time, as we're talking about Urs. It's going to take them, 4 or 5 more years to mature into a great open competitor. So we live in a hurry up world now. We live in like we want things instantaneously. We have the internet, things are instantaneously. So I think athletes or people can identify to that category because they can get more instant results than they do as an open bodybuilder. You have guys who are pro in an open bodybuilder that it take them, 5, 6, 7 years even to get on the Olympia stage, if ever. But in this category, it's a lot more easy and attainable. And it's also a more desired look. I think no disrespect to the competitors now, the guys in that category, they do remiss more of what we did in the 90s, where we had lines, we had taper physiques. Our shoulder to waist ratio was tremendous. We all had great guns and legs and striations and stuff like that. And I think a lot of the guys now might be more focused on actual size than pure condition. I mean, you would have somebody in 10th place at the Olympia, but they still would have striated lines and deep separations in their quads. So it's a lot more difficult to be a great open competitor than it is to be a classic physique competitor. So I think that's the reason why it identifies more. And it's a lot harder. It's a lot of hard freaking work. It's a lot of hard dedication. So everything that Urs has done so far in building his physique to be a great champion, which I feel he's going to be in the open category, he's probably going to be damn near close to half the size more than he is now. That just takes time. That just takes time and hard work and perseverance. And I don't think this generation is that patient with waiting for those type of results where we did. It was normal, right? We came from Arnold and all those guys. So we seen that it took them years to develop their physique. Years, you know, so we come from that. And then we come along and people of this, you know, category now, they want it immediately. You know, you talk to a guy now and they just started training like, yeah, I'm gonna be in the Mr Olympia. I'm like, dude, really? You haven't even competed yet. You know what I mean? That's their mind frame where we would be like, man, I want to do the cow. You know, I want to do the USA. You know, we're thinking lower, and these guys now. I mean, you go to a seminar, guys saying like, "I'm gonna be next Miss Olympia. Help me become Miss Olympia." I'm like, dude, I can't do that. I couldn't do that for myself. How am I going to guarantee that for you? You know what I mean? But I'm sure Chris get the same thing. Athletes come up to him, "Hey, I want to be next Miss Olympia." Yeah, I'm like, I can't guarantee you that. I couldn't even guarantee it for me. And the honest truth is, 9 times out of 10, the guys that me and Chris are working with don't have all of our assets. So we can look at them and tell, oh, that's going to be a tall order for you to be Mr. son. But they don't know it. But that's their ideal. It's not like I want to be Mr. USA. I want to be Mr. whatever state I'm from. They think this is the biggest thing, you know. So go ahead, Chris. I cut you off.
I was going to say, I noticed, Urs, you did a lot of collaborations with a lot of the top professionals. I did see that, right? What's the story behind all the collaborations, and are you just trying to picking up followers and likes and stuff, or are you learning a lot of stuff? And why when I invited you to Camp Cormier, why did you avoid me, and why are you hiding, and why did you?
I'm not hiding, brother. You know that exactly. we all just have 24 hours a day, and it's yeah. Since the last 2 years, I wasn't resting a lot, but I love traveling in first place, and I also love to know different cultures. I mean, I talked about Brazil, and to go there, go into the favelas, see those people over there, see the country, and also get the secrets from the guys over there, and adapt to their training style and their methods. Not only bring me further as an athlete, also as a human being. And I think also to put out some content is extremely important. Like Flex said, it's all about like your character and how you're gonna wanna be recognized on stage and off stage. And also Jay, he's my mentor now, and I talk to him almost like every day, and he also tells me like, you need to get your ass out if you are a professional and do your job. And I mean, how was it 10 years ago, 20 years ago? We had all the vitamin shops in the whole US and had to travel from here to there. And nowadays, the pros think they are good pros when they eat their 6 meals and sleep 8 hours a day, and that's it. And you guys had to really work hard for your money you earned. You know, Flex, you was on tour for 51 for 50 weeks.
Yeah, I did 88 appearances
everywhere.
my pro year. Not just competing. I did 88 appearances globally.
I mean, that's crazy. And nowadays it's like you have a seminar twice a year, and a lot of the pros are like, I'm 7 weeks out. I can't go there. It's gonna ruin my whole progress. And I'm like, what the fuck? I mean, that's ridiculous. So for me, that's how you earn your money nowadays. You know, we don't have the vitamin shops. We have our great sponsors and our great products, and social media, of course. And if you don't want to get your name out, then forget it. You can just do bodybuilding and just train and live in your small box and do your thing. But when you want to be one of the best, it's part of the game.
Very true, very true. Quick question from one of the fans. By the name, I can tell is a Brazilian, Gustavo Figueiredo. Will Urs Kalecinski. By the way, his name is not Kalecinski, is Kalecinski. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not going to bite my tongue.
I'm correcting everybody. Will Urs Kalecinski compete before the Olympia this year?
Fala, Gustavo. Honestly, I'm focusing 100% on the Olympia this year. Maybe I'm gonna do some stuff afterwards, but like I said before, step by step, and next step is the big Olympia, and 6.5 weeks. Crazy, time is flying, so we get ready for it.
Hey, Urs, there's a controversial question here. Do you mind if I add the question here?
Go for it. It's good.
Urs Kalecinski, does Mike Sommerfeld have a chance to get in the top 3 this year?
I don't know how he's gonna show up, but I would say top 3 is not possible. Mic drop.
All right.
I love it. I love it.
Is Terrence Ruffin a threat for Urs Kalecinski?
No, honestly, Terrence is a great guy. Also, I mean, it's cool. All the top 10 guys, they are great. I mean, I don't want to disrespect anybody, but right now I'm in a mindset of like, I'm gonna win this shit this year, and nobody gonna stop me. So if I would change my mindset and say like, yeah, he's a great guy and he maybe could win this also, I mean, I wouldn't work my ass off every day. Get up at 5 a.m. and do my stuff. So yeah,
a lot of the fans here, a lot of the fans, they believe the same. Now, I have a video here. I want to give credit because I got this video just now, and I want to give credit to Nick Strength and Power. He's a good friend of the channel. This is a good shot. It's not a professional shot, but it's so close. It gives us a sense of the battle between you and Ramon. We'll take a look at this, and then we'll have your comments after. So right here, front double biceps. I've already advised Ramon that sometimes moving too much, just a little touch, and he's hitting the pose before you, so I'll tell you to hit the pose. Looks like both of you guys are shaking a bit. Did you feel like you and Ramon were nervous right there in the center?
I wasn't nervous, honestly, but it was, it's funny, it was the floor. It wasn't like 100% straight, so I was shaking a bit. But yeah, I see this posing, and I definitely improved it this year. So yeah, I don't want to look at this old version of me.
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, I'm working so hard on it right now. So yeah.
So what you're saying is that the Urs Kalecinski from the Arnold Classic is nowhere near what we're going to see at the Olympia.
Yeah, because maybe those who remember, I was hospitalized 1 week before the Arnolds because of a food poisoning I had. And it definitely wasn't my best look. I didn't said something to anyone to like confuse the people. I just went out on stage, did my thing, um, shut my mouth, and then I got second, and I wasn't really expecting it because it was really bad. But yeah, this year's hopefully I'm beating on my table. Everything's gonna be 100%, and then we're gonna see what's going on.
Hey, here's the deal, Chris. What is your advice to Urs for beating Ramon and Chris?
I mean,
Besides Guarana.
he's going to have a clear understanding or need a clear understanding about what are you going to do? What poses are you going to do to expose your competitors? What are their weaknesses? You want to, in my book, you want to, equalize their strengths, and you want to kill their weaknesses. And if you can do that, I think, some of the shots that like what shot would you hit if you need it's the pose down. You want the judges to be like, Urs is close. Chris is walking towards you. What shot are you going to hit?
Front lat spread.
Front lat spread. Yes.
Chest.
Yeah. So that's some of his strongest shots. So I think if you can, equalize some of those shots of his, and when you do your strongest shots, and then some that he don't really have as good as yours. Like I think your quads is better than his, and I think yours improved a lot. So I think if you can do that and have that mindset, that's going to help you get the win.
Hey, I have a question for you, Flex.
Yeah.
Chris Bumstead is an extremely intelligent, cerebral guy. Okay. And he's befriended Urs Kalecinski. He's befriended Ramon Dino. And that almost has taken away their aggression against them on stage. And, you hated Chris Cormier. Chris Cormier hated you. Sean Ray hated both of you. Kevin Levrone still hates the fact that Sean Ray didn't give him the orange. And Dorian Yates just wanted to slash you guys' throats. I mean, it was just a little bit more aggressive. And we see it with Natalia. We're going to have Olympia battle tomorrow. Natalia Coelho and Sarah Viegas. There's a natural aggression. Samson Dauda, when he went to Olympia battle, he wanted to outpose Derek. Derek took off his shirt. Would your advice be, hey, you got to start seeing these guys as your enemies? None of this friendly stuff, because I think this friendly stuff benefits Chris Bumstead. It doesn't benefit them. Do you agree or disagree?
No, I'm sorry, I do disagree. I know that I'm a pure competitor. I mean, I don't care. I mean, when I'm playing with my daughter when she was just 9 years old, we're playing swimming pool basketball, and I'm slamming on her, and it's rough, and I'm throwing her out the way and all that stuff. I want to win. And even when people will watch the videos like, geez, man, that's your daughter, let her win. I'm like, no, life don't let you win. You got to fight for everything. So I disagree. I don't see nothing wrong with being friends with your competitor. I mean, listen, me and Chris, we trained together. We truly loved each other. We want the best for each other. Literally, I would hurt somebody deeply if they bothered him, and he would do the same. We've been in those scenarios. But on stage, I knew if I showed him the most amount of respect is by trying to demolish him. He deserves all that I have to offer. He deserves for me to be at my all-time best. So I wanted to embarrass Chris. I wanted to embarrass everyone. If Chris hit one of those dominant poses, I would try to make him change out of it. I'd slap him on the leg and be like, come on, do this one. You know what I mean? So no, that's not true. You don't have to hate your competitor. Listen, that man next to you is only trying to do the same thing you're trying to do, trying to take care of his family, trying to up his game. Myself, I look at it as you're not a professional if you have to hate that other competitor just to win. A pure professional, a pure competitor, a pure professional wants that person to be at their ultimate best, and then embarrass him respectfully, right?
Yeah.
And me and Chris, he caught me one time. I think it was 1996, right after my car accident. I think we were doing the. And you know what? So this is my boy, right? This is my boy. I spent probably more hours with him than I did with anyone else, other than him and Rico. This is my boy, but I'm out of shape. It's right after the car accident. I go back on stage, and literally Chris is slapping me on the ass, like, "Come on, do this pose." And I'm like, I look at him. I know what he's doing. I'm like, "You mother, you know I'm out of shape, and you go embarrass me too." And he goes, "Yep." It ain't nothing but love. That's love and respect. So no, I don't agree. I don't agree at all whatsoever. And I come from the fight world where, you know, literally we have reason to hurt each other, to hate each other, because if I knocked you out or if I broke your ribs, but no, it's respect. You stepped in a ring with me. You deserve everything I got. And I deserve for you to give me everything that you got. And let's find out who's the best. That's a pure champion. This other crap I don't agree with at all.
I don't want to interrupt you, Flex, but I feel the same. I mean, there is a difference between respect and, like, I mean, for me, he is the enemy, but I mean, it's for 10 or 15 minutes on that stage. And in my mind, when I'm going to my bunker, my dungeon gym where I'm training, then I have those thoughts in my head. But otherwise, I'm a very respectful guy. That's how I was raised, and he gets all the respect from me he deserves. He's a great champ, but everyone is beatable, so we're gonna change it this year.
Chris Cormier, do you think that Ramon and Urs, they need to come after Chris Bumstead on the posing aggressively, challenge him, let the judges and the audience know, hey, he's no longer the champion. I am the champion. Do you think that would be helpful or no?
Yeah, that'd be helpful. I mean, I would take that mindset into my competition. You didn't come here for second place, and you worked just as hard, if not harder, and in your mind than everybody else in that show. That should be your mindset going into the show. You know, on anything, you know, it's not like a physical fight, but your mindset is basically like that. You're out there to fight for what you're trying to get, and you didn't come there for anything less but first place. You shouldn't be.
Terrick, if I can add, you were talking. Chris was giving him advice on attacking his weaknesses and everything. One thing that I seen in that video, Urs, is Dino command the stage. He knew that he was the it factor, and he commanded the stage, meaning that he hit poses first, and he waited for you to hit those poses. And as soon as you hit your pose, he's releasing his pose and going into another pose. So my thing is, you need to command the stage, however it is. If he hits one of his strong shots, you know, and he's going to hear this and he's going to counter it. But, you know, one thing that me and Chris and Sean knew back in the days, it's more of a mind game on stage than it is a posing game. So I want to switch you out of whatever you're doing and try to get you to do what I'm doing. Even as far as if you hit one of your poses, I might walk away from you and walk way to the other side. If you follow me, I showed my dominance, right? And if you follow me over there, I'm gonna wait and I'm gonna hit a pose. And as soon as you get ready to go in that pose, I'm off and I'm over to the other side. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to mentally dismiss you as a competitor. You're not even here, dude. You're not even worth my time. If you do hit one of your great shots and it's better than mine, I'm going to look at you. I'm going to slap you on the leg or something, put my arm around you and try to get you out of your pose and coach you into doing one of my poses. 9 times out of 10, it works because nobody want to be out challenged. A stronger competitor, he would stay in his pose knowing that he's dominant, and he would slap you on the butt like, no, do my pose. So those are the mind games that you have to play. The other thing, like Chris said, it is a pure fight. So why would you let anyone hit you first
Mhm.
and then hit you again? So
But
why
that-
aren't you striking first? Strike your pose first and make everybody else command. Because what the judges will do, and Terrick can correct me if I'm wrong, when they call a pose, whoever hits that pose first, the time starts. They're not going to wait for every bastard to hit their pose if they're doing all this. They're going to be on to the next pose. So if you strike your pose first, the time starts. And if everybody don't hit their pose fast enough, they don't get a proper chance of the judges scanning to be able to see them, right? And if you still poses in between, so front double bicep, do your front double bicep, let the judges see it, so all of them, switch out of that and go into another. It's called stilling poses. So I'm not going to let you hit me and then I hit you and then you hit me. I'm going to continue stilling on you until you give in. I'm not going to let you hit a pose. That's fighting on stage. One of the greatest examples was 1993, me and Labrada competing, and we were waiting, right? All the comparisons. Yep, and it was me and Lee standing there, and Lee I'm waiting. They call it waiting for the next pose, and Lee just started popping off poses, and he's hitting what I consider my dominant pose, and I'm like, the freak, no, man, bing, 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 bing. It's a fight. That's what you have to look at.
Elaborate on that. Wait a second, Terrick. Can I elaborate on that? One story I have from myself and Joe Weider. When I go to his office, at least 2 or 3 times in a week. But I remember he took me into the back room to his bathroom. He said, "Now, Chris, stand close to the mirror." I said, "Okay." And I'm like close to the mirror. He said, "Hit a front double bicep." I hit a front double bicep. He said, "Now look closely at your biceps and what you see." And what was happening is the bicep was filling with blood, and the cuts were getting deeper right before my eyes. I was in shape, and you can see it clearly. But if you do that test, it'll prove to you by hitting your pose before everyone else. And like Flex said, the time is
holding
ticking.
it.
Now you're going to start to see the change of the density, the fullness of the bicep, the muscle belly, and also the deeper cuts going to come because blood is surging through that area. So people that's looking to the side and waiting for the other guy to hit it and they want to look really cool, they're doing themselves a service when it comes to
and I think I'm gonna say this, Kalecinski actually is a better poser than Ramon Dino and Chris Bumstead. His angles are beautiful.
Yeah,
beautiful.
I agree.
But Terrick, but the video that you guys showed, he's waiting for
Ramon to hit the pose.
But he's way better now because he improved at that.
My advice to is, my advice to every competitor, I always tell every competitor, the first thing you need to think is pose as if you already won the show. If you look at Ronnie Coleman posing when he was Mr. Olympia, and then you get Ronnie Coleman before he was Mr. Olympia, embrace that confidence that you are already a Mr. Olympia. Chris Bumstead poses better now because he feels he is the Mr. Olympia. What I would tell every competitor is, you are the Mr. Olympia. It's just a matter of time. And I tell every competitor, pose as if you are already Mr. Olympia. And then the technicality comes. Be the first one to hit the pose, which is what Flex was saying. Be the first one to hit the pose and the last one to get out of the pose. Now, if you are one of the best posers in bodybuilding like Kalecinski, and you're the first one to hit the pose, plus you are already looking like you're Mr. Olympia, my man, things can get complicated in Orlando because this guy has incredible freaking angles. His front double biceps is a work of art. You can see the guy did a painting, in the background right there. I want your final comments here. You have to win the Mr. Olympia for Germany. You have to win that show. Europe needs a champion. Your final considerations, and do you have any messages for Chris Bumstead and Ramon Dino?
Honestly, I want to not only win the Olympia title for Germany, I want to represent the whole Europe with winning this title. And I appreciate everybody who is on this journey with me together. Yeah, we're creating something great. I'm thankful to have competitors like we have right now with Ramon, with Chris, and all the other guys, because winning an Olympia with a weak lineup isn't what we all want to win. Olympia means the best of the best athletes in the world, and I think everybody willing fan can be excited for this year's November, regardless of classic or open or bikini or whatever. We're gonna have some tough battles, and also the battle between Germany, Brazil and Canada or US, whatever. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm working my ass off for it. Chris, Ramon, if you guys hear it, you guys better be ready, because this year the bear is hungry and he's coming.
Yes, his name is Urs Kalecinski. Not since 1997 have we had an excitement in European bodybuilding. Since Dorian Yates retired in 1997, we haven't had this much excitement for British bodybuilding. Not only Urs Kalecinski, but also Samson Dauda. Both of them are coming from Europe, and they're making a statement. Urs Kalecinski is one of the most popular bodybuilders of our times, not only for what he does on stage, but off stage. His posing is pure brilliant, and his physique continues to get better. With 8 pounds of more muscle in that frame, the key question remains, can he beat Ramon Dino and Chris Bumstead? Many will not be surprised if the last man standing is the German miracle bear, Urs Kalecinski. My name is Terrick Guindy with the Mr. Olympia, with the iconic European figure, Urs Kalecinski, also with the two legends, Chris Cormier, 4-time Ironman champion, 1993 Mr. USA's, and the Sultan of Symmetry, Flex Wheeler, the 1992 Mr. USA's 4-time Arnold class champion. My name is Terrick Guindy, and we'll see you next week.
Ladies and gentlemen,